Hello, 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 hello. Quick question for you guys. Have you ever wanted to be like an early adopter on one of the latest and greatest social media things that come out into the space? Well, if so, you're probably in the right place. And I want to talk a little bit about that real quick. If you've been following social media trends at all, you probably realize that short form content is killing it. All the socials now have stories. LinkedIn has stories. Pinterest has stories. YouTube, y'all, get this. YouTube has just started something called YouTube Shorts, which is short form vertical content on YouTube. Vertical content on YouTube? Why? Because vertical content and short form content in particular is just absolutely killing it. People are consuming it at like incredible rates. Instagram has also, rushed into this same opportunity. They've had stories for a while. They recently have rolled out something called Reels, which is, again, short form content. Vertical, obviously, because it's Instagram, but video is where it's at, you guys, and specifically the short form content. So if you're not leveraging the power of short form content, I would like to introduce you to our special guest here in just a moment, because she's going to give us the skinny on specifically how we can take advantage of this, what I would call a fairly new opportunity on Instagram, and definitely something that is not oversaturated. It's a great opportunity for so many right now, but you got to step into it. But what are they? Like, how would you do this? How would you leverage it? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. So as you guys are coming in, hello, I want to say hey, and just give me a shout out. Where in the world are you? I see Sherry is here. Taylor from Rochester, New York. Nancy, hello. Hey, Mike, so good to see you. Laquita, hey, hello. We've got Paul. I'm so glad you're here. I love seeing you each and every week. And we have Ella from Atlanta. I am back in Tampa, Florida, and let me just take a minute to wallow in it, okay? Go Bucks, right? So who's your team? I'm sorry if it wasn't the Bucks, but for those of us here in Tampa, we are super proud because we have been at the bottom of the pile forever. And I just found out that my special guest today is also from Tampa. So pre-show, we were like, being pretty excited about this whole Super Bowl win for sure. Illinois, back from St. Lucia, Jenny, girl, yes, right? It's almost like that here. We've got Sandra from Woodfall. So I've been in Virginia. I think they have like 8 or 10 inches of snow on the ground there. And here in Tampa, it's just been lovely. It's like 70-degree weather. And yeah, it's just a little bit lovely. So, hey, Rhonda, so glad you're here. And we've got Linda from New Mexico. I don't know. I can't say that. It's not wanting to roll off my tongue this morning. Okay, so I'm excited about this, our topic today, but I wanted to share just a few things before we get started. Guys, if you hear something let me back up for a second. We do giveaways on every show. And in order to win the giveaways, which our giveaways today are going to be something that is coming soon, but we're going to give away a mug that says BU on it. My new store is in the making. And so you're getting to see one of the new designs, and we're going to be giving this away, a mug today, to a lucky winner. So that's one of the prizes. We're also going to be giving away 2 30-minute brainstorming sessions. The sponsor for today's show is my own very own mastermind, which is we're in the middle of marketing right now. But one of the things that I love doing is helping people take a problem that they have in their business and coming up with a solution. Sometimes we get so close in our businesses that we can't see the forest for the trees, and somebody somebody else can like just take a single problem and take a peek at it and give you a solution that you never would have thought of. So the two giveaways again are going to be the mug and the two 30-minute business mastermind sessions, brainstorming sessions, I call them. And in order to win, this is what you have to do. You have to drop in your hashtag moments, guys. So what's a hashtag moment, an aha moment. It basically is if you hear something that you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazing, or either you didn't know it or you needed to rehear it and it just came at you at that moment and you're like, I needed to hear that. It was an aha moment. Just drop in hashtag aha. That's how we choose our winners for our prizes. And I do ask a favor real quick. If you guys like something, you're hearing something, drop those emojis in. We love them. Or sprinkle this out into the world so that other people can learn more about Reels. Okay? All right. So that was just a few quick housekeeping things. Let me introduce our special guest, guys. Our special guest today is Natasha Samuel. Natasha is the host of the Shine Online podcast and the founder of Soul Studio, an Instagram studio that helps small businesses shine online through intensive strategy days, digital resources, and education. Natasha helps you build your brand on the gram. On the gram, I love that, with a video strategy that is fulfilling and fun without the overwhelm. Yeah, that's my kind of gal. All right, y'all, put your hands together for Natasha. Hey, Natasha.
Hello, Kim. I'm so excited to be here.
We're so excited to have you. I'm super excited about this topic in particular. You know, one of the things that keeps coming up, and at least, and you probably see it too, is this short form content. You know, I've been hearing a lot about YouTube shorts in particular, Reels. There's just so much focus right now on this short video content. So can you share a little bit about how your journey, like we were talking beforehand, and y'all, Natasha is a booming entrepreneur right out of college. She's a youngin', but she's doing amazing things. So how did you get started in the social space and specifically on Instagram?
Absolutely. So I was studying public relations. I had a lot of experience in the digital marketing space. And I really saw that small businesses and even just small agencies really struggled to have their brands be really successful on Instagram. I don't know if it's the video or that it feels like such a personal place to be, but I really saw that there was a need for more support there. So when I was having that little crisis, I think that every college student has when they're about to graduate, figuring out what I want to do with the rest of my life, I really realized that I wanted to support people in a bigger way and started my own business. So I started building my brand and getting clients while I was still in school. And then I've literally been doing it full time ever since. And it's definitely had a few twists and turns because I started in digital marketing. Naturally, I thought, let me do email marketing and web design and blogging and all the social media platforms. But I really realized that Instagram is definitely one of the best places to be for all different types of brands, personal brands, bigger businesses, brick and mortar. So I really niched down to Instagram, and I found that it helped me find a lot of success in growing my brand, but also for my clients as well. And then, of course, gradually niche down to video because Instagram is becoming a hub for video like many other social media platforms. So that's kind of a little brief.
Okay, so remember I said she was a young one and she has already figured out the value of niching down. I'm just saying, y'all, because seriously, it is such a struggle, I think, sometimes for us to narrow our focus. So I'm just kudos to you for wading through all the stuff that we all go through, but then getting to a place where now you're really honed in. And do you focus primarily on just Reels or stories and Reels or Instagram across the board? I'm just curious as to, do you have a primary focus?
Yeah, so I like to say Instagram video because I find that Instagram really loves when you're holistically using the platform. So I love Instagram Lives, IGTVs, but I would say I'm definitely biased to stories and reels. I think those are like the essential parts for growth right now.
Yeah, I think so too. So when it comes to the differences between like stories and reels, because I think there is a lot of confusion around the fact that one, stories have been around for a long time. Instagram just had its 10th anniversary, right? It's not so long ago. It's hard to believe it's been 10 years. But stories have been around for a while on Instagram. What is the difference between stories and a reel?
Yeah, so the first similarity actually is that Instagram loves to copycat what it sees being very successful on other social media platforms. So, of course, Stories was inspired by Snapchat, and then Reels was inspired by TikTok. And I think another similarity there is that they have their own channels on the Instagram app. So, on Instagram Stories, they have those bubbles that are at the top of your Instagram app. So, there's this own distinct place to engage and create and consume stories, similarly to reels. But as for differences, it pretty much, there's a lot to really go with there because they both are inherently shorter form videos, but stories are a limited amount of 15-second clips, and they can be a variety of graphics, static photos, boomerangs, videos, talking videos. So there's kind of a lot of variety of the types of media you can be doing on stories. And they also have a very interactive element. So if you react or reply to an Instagram story, which is my favorite part, you get a direct conversation in the DMs, the direct messages within Instagram. So it's an amazing way to connect with your community one-on-one. And I find that they're kind of a little less curated, a little less edited compared to all the types of video you could be creating on Instagram because they have a shorter shelf life. After 24 hours, they disappear off your stories feed. So there's kind of this need to always be adding fresh content so people can binge and watch them and always be in the know of kind of behind the scenes of what's happening with your brand and business. Of course, they can be saved to highlights, which is the place that you can save your archive stories. But that's kind of the biggest difference, is that it is less curated. It can be a little bit longer, but it is a little bit less, it's more temporary. But with reels, they are only 15 to 30 seconds long, and they tend to be a little bit more edited and curated, and they live on the feed and the reels feed as well.
One thing I've noticed is, I mean, maybe it's just the people I follow, so keep that in mind. But one of the things I've noticed is stories appear to be more personal to me. Like a little bit more, and not to say that I haven't seen reels that are too, but it seems like there's more like, real life stuff happening in stories. And then reels, to your point, are just a little bit more, my dogs are barking, a little bit more focused on intention, maybe. There's a little bit more like meat to them, I would say. So like if you guys are not familiar with where you can find reels on your Instagram app, I thought I'd just show you on my phone real quick. And obviously stories are at the top. So you guys can see, on Instagram. And then down at the bottom, there's that little video icon right in the center. Now, warning, I'm just going to warn you right now, if you click on it and you go there, you're going to be there for a while. So it's like TikTok in that
Yep.
in that way. I feel like it's very addictive. So if you click on it and you go, which I highly recommend you at least look at it and see what, but I find that now my two favorite things on Instagram, interestingly enough, is not the feed. I almost never like scroll anymore. I look at the people at the top, and there's stories like the people I follow and I want to pay attention to. And that's narrowed dramatically over the past few months in particular. But now the video, this content, I'm all like, like I love this. Like there's and I can consume so much content very quickly as an end user. So I'm just telling y'all, just from an end user perspective, that's been my experience so far. So you talked about reels being two things, and I think this is important in this context. Reels are short, meaning they're 15 or 30 seconds in length. and they're temporary. So that's usually a lot of, and so are stories technically, right? So that's why I think a lot of people, a lot of business owners are reluctant to embrace them, because they're like, well, you create the content and then there's, what are you going to do with it? It's gone. But I think that's the point, right? It's like a FOMO. It creates a FOMO. What's your opinion on why people are so attracted to this temporary content?
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. And I think when you mentioned the behind the scenes element of stories, I think because they do feel so personal, it does incentivize you to want to connect with that person day to day and not miss anything that's a part of their day or their business or their launch or whatever's going on, because, those stories do disappear after 24 hours. But with Reels, actually, they do live on the Reels feed, and they do live on your own grid and your Reels channel and the feed in general. So there's actually a lot of different places that you consume Reels. And why I've actually found that Reels are really beneficial right now, and this could just be because our Facebook really wants us, Instagram, Facebook, same people, they really want us to essentially be using Reels. But I've actually found that my Reels content lasts so much longer on the feed than just a regular feed post. I think we're all used to posting on Instagram, and 24 to 48 hours later, chances are the engagement has kind of dropped off. You're kind of moved on to the next piece of content. But with Reels, I've actually found that some of my Reels, even a whole week after, will really start to pick up and get that kind of viral engagement. So while stories are a little bit more temporary, which I don't think means don't use them, I think that is really beneficial in a lot of ways. Reels can actually really last a long time in the algorithm and in the feed, especially when you're consistently utilizing them.
I love that you explained that, because I think a lot of people think, oh, it's temporary. It's only temporary in the context of the Reels themselves. I mean, but they still live in the ecosystem inside of Instagram.
Yes.
So you still get bang from them, which is one of the biggest, I think. I mean, that in my opinion gives those of us who know we need to be doing this a kick in the butt, because there's no reason, there's no excuse now to say, hey, I'm not going to do that because it's temporary content and I'm not going to get any benefit from it long term. So I love that you explained that. So I know that a lot of these platforms are trying to compete with TikTok right now. And, that's exactly my understanding. I was talking to my friend Daryl Eves, who's like the OG of YouTube over there. And, he was talking about YouTube shorts, and they're definitely worried about TikTok, and they're trying to bring back a lot of the viewers that are consuming so much content on TikTok back into the YouTube ecosystem. And that's true, I think, of same with Instagram. You said that at the start of the show that Instagram copies all the great features from other platforms.
Yep.
So I was going a different direction, but that made me think about Clubhouse. Right? Clubhouse is an audio version, just an audio app. So at some point, you would probably assume that they'll probably have some audio only version. That's kind of an interesting thing. I just kind of went there real quick. Anyway, I digress from where I was going with my question. So when it comes to TikTok, though, and leveraging content for both platforms, let's say everybody's talking about TikTok, and and when we're creating this content, it's vertical content, so it could technically be a story, right? And stories are available on all the platforms. There's TikTok, which is a vertical platform format, and then there's Reels. Is it possible to create the content once and use it in the same capacity on all the socials, like from stories to Reels?
Yeah, and I think that's a really great question. I have seen people repurposing maybe like a 15-second snippet from Instagram stories to Reels, because when you're editing stories and Reels internally within the Instagram app, they're using the same type of text and colors and fonts. So they actually look and feel pretty similarly. I do think that when it comes to TikTok and Reels, they feel very different in the type of content because they are more edited. They tend to have some type of music or a voiceover, and there usually is a bunch of different types of clips or some type of changing per clip. So maybe it's the text changing or different clips. So I'd say stories feel the most separate when compared to Reels and TikTok. But one thing that I think you mentioned, and I think this is something that I think the social media platforms don't realize because they just are really wanting to be competitive and to beat out TikTok. First of all, I know people that are diehard TikTokers, whether they're consuming or creating on it, and I don't think they're going anywhere. They're like, I'm not leaving TikTok. But places like Clubhouse and TikTok, they are very similar in a lot of ways because within the app, it's a lot more of a place for you to create and consume. And there's really not that connection aspect. So even if people are using TikTok, for example, if they really want to connect with a creator or follow them more and learn from them more, chances are they're actually going to go over to Instagram. And the same thing with Clubhouse. We've all noticed that your DMs blow up after you do a room because that's the place that people kind of connect after the room is over to continue the conversation. But when it comes to repurposing from TikTok to Reels, I've seen a lot of people post or, creating within TikTok and then posting it over to Reels. And I definitely think it can work. I definitely would recommend if you can save the video and it not have a giant TikTok watermark. I have a feeling Instagram might not love that. And the way you can do that is actually by saving your TikTok videos as a live photo and then converting that live photo and saving it as a video, which you can just do inside your camera roll. It's really easy to do. But I totally think because people are consuming content in different ways and interacting on the platform completely differently, because on Instagram, there's so many different ways to connect with people. There's IGTV, there's lives, there's stories, there's your feed. So I think there's kind of people are consuming in different ways. But I think on TikTok, it's a completely different way of consuming. That's that For You page, and people are just scrolling, binging. So I think inherently, chances are you're probably not reaching those same people, and you can post your TikToks to Reels and vice versa.
Yeah, and I would wholeheartedly agree. Like, I see a lot of content, TikTok content being repurposed, and I'm a big fan of repurposing. Don't get me wrong, big fan of it. But it is like weird when I see TikTok on Pinterest or where what you just said. That's such a great tip, y'all, is to save your video as a as a live image, and then convert it. It's very easy to do, and that way you can have that, you can create that piece of content in one block of time and then repurpose it and make it seem like it's native to the platform that you're using it on, versus just saving your TikTok later and then it shows up on Pinterest or let's say LinkedIn. Like that just doesn't seem like it goes.
No.
And now that LinkedIn does have stories, technically this content, we can start to get intentional with this short form content, create it, and then natively share it to all these platforms, as long as it makes sense. I think there is some content that might not make a lot of sense to do.
And I agree with that. I was going to say one thing that kind of got me thinking of is like even comparing the TikTok audience to LinkedIn, like those are totally different demographics. They're consuming content for completely different reasons. And that's kind of a tip that I would actually get you. And maybe we're going to talk about Reels ideas and what to actually create, is that I think, you see the trends of what is working for short form video. You see the pointing, you see the dancing, you see these things that are working. But by actually not doing those things and kind of serving more to like creating content that feels like it's created for Reels or feels like it's created for LinkedIn stories, you might actually get better results. But I think repurposing can be done. Maybe it's a balance, a 50-50 balance you can do.
And honestly, I will say this, because I love that Taya said this. She says, I use TikTok videos on Pinterest every day. Huge results. No need to remove the watermark. It still works. So the point of that, I really wanted to highlight her comment, because figure out what works for you. I'm never one to like say emphatically, oh, don't do that, because that's, at the end of the day, if something is working for you, please do it. Just like I said, it was a great strategy to like make your content look like you created it just for that platform. But if you're using it and it's working, go for it. I mean, I think that is incredible. I'm so glad you shared that with us. So quick reset real quick. I wanted to remind everybody to make sure you're dropping, hang on, your aha moments, okay? So that you can win the mug. I never can get my finger to go the right way. And we have the two 30-minute brainstorming sessions as well. So don't forget to drop, like I say, drop in those aha moments. I'm seeing so many go by, but I wanted to make sure that you guys don't forget so that you have an opportunity to win the prizes. Okay, so Natasha, how often should you post a new reel? And and what's like, is it like several times a day? Is it once a day? Is it once a week? Like, what does that look like in the from an opportunity standpoint? Because there's a lot of content being shared today, but I don't think a lot of business owners have really embraced reels yet. So I think there's a big opportunity here.
Definitely. I agree. And I want to reference two things before I kind of give my personal take and advice there. The first thing is that I'm sure a lot of people have seen that Instagram told a few influencers how many times they should be creating content and what types of content they should be creating. In summary, it was an insane amount of content. I think it was like almost 20 plus pieces of content a week. And I think for small businesses, personal brands, if you don't have a huge marketing team, I don't think it's very realistic. But with that, I think Instagram definitely hinted that the more Reels content you're creating right now, the more it's really going to reward you with the amount of views and engagement and reach that you're going to get with your videos. So on the other side of that, when Reels first came out, I had kind of been predicting that it was coming since I knew TikTok was taking over and Instagram had its eyes set on it. And I hosted a 30-day Reels challenge, and we had 2,000 different types of businesses, really small with less than a few hundred followers, some that were really established and had thousands of followers. And what we pretty much did is for 6 weeks, we hosted 5 reels a week. So every single day during the weekday, 5 reels a week, and only stories on top of that. And just for my account during that time, I saw 5,000 new followers, and that's in a little over a month, which I think is really awesome organic reach. People that were buying my products, people that were engaging with me. And I think that definitely shows that the more you're consecutively using Reels, it's definitely going to give you a lot of benefits. And as we mentioned, Reels are a feed post. They share directly to your feed. You see them on your grid, and they're on the Reels channel, and they're on the Reels tab in your profile. So by creating Reels, maybe you already have a schedule of how many feed posts you're doing. Maybe it just means reducing the other types of content you're creating to prioritize Reels a little bit more. I mean, luckily they're short, so it shouldn't take you a ton of time to create those Reels. But what I personally found is that the more I consecutively post Reels, even if one doesn't get that viral reach, it tends to push another one that maybe I posted a week ago to get that viral reach. So when it comes to a posting amount, I think if you can consistently post like 2 to 3 reels on the minimum side a week, I think you'll see a lot of benefits there. I think if you can go all the way up to 5 reels a week, and maybe that be your only type of content you're creating, I definitely think you'll see a lot of results there. And I think if you're just starting to really dive into Reels on a consistent basis, it may mean testing different types of visual content, what type of content is really resonating well, how your captions should be, because Reels is definitely still very new. But I found definitely between 2 to 5 pieces of Reels a week, you're going to see some really great results.
Well, I love that. So when you say a reel, so let's break that down a little bit. Like, how many like 15-second like pieces go into a reel, like to make it substantial enough to like be meaty? Like, is there like a magic formula for that? What's your advice on that?
Yeah, that is a really great question because I think if you can give a lot of value in such a short amount of video time, you're definitely a great video storyteller. And I also will say you can create less than 15 seconds of video. I've done that a few times, and that's actually very beneficial because it increases the amount of times people are going to loop it. Kim, something you were kind of referencing is when you're on the Reels feed, you can just rewatch a video over and over again. And that is really telling Instagram, wow, this is really great content if people are rewatching it. So you can actually go shorter if you're really feeling like you're wanting to challenge yourself. But I found that there's a lot of different types of formats of videos that you can do. So some can be where there's different clips changing each time. I roughly found that around the 3-second mark is enough time to say or share or show text that is going to give substantial value. A rough formula that I like to follow for my reels, especially if they're more on the educational side, is having a very clear hook. So in those first 3 seconds, 5 seconds, really hooking people in and telling them why they should watch, what they're going to get out of the reel. And then I always think that sharing things in threes is very beneficial. So then maybe sharing 3 steps, 3 tips, 3 hacks, 3 insights, whatever that might be, 3 tools, 3 apps. It can literally be anything. And then always kind of ending off with maybe some type of call to action. It could just be comment your favorite one. It could be to read the caption for more information, because I think people often feel like you have to stuff all your best information into your real video, but you actually can use your caption to build on your reel, which is something that I've really been doing lately. Is I might share some quick tips and then give some bonus tips in the caption. Another call to action could, of course, be something like let's book a call, or something a little bit more strategic as well, depending on your brand or business. But I'd say in general, that's a really great format to go with. But I think especially if you're going with the trendier ones, like maybe you're using the trendy music, or you're using a trendy, funny sound, or if maybe you're going that route with your content, which you don't have to do. But then you can kind of use that form where you can use the caption to kind of elaborate more on this. An example of this is I did a video where it was kind of funny, and I was just showing like behind the scenes of creating video content. Like I was really tired after lives, and I was like, editing my photo really funny, and it was kind of like a funnier video showing behind the scenes of video content. So it was very relatable, funny. But in the caption, I gave tips for how I create my video content. So it was very educational and valuable in that meaty content, but the video itself was actually pretty lighthearted and easy to consume. So I think there's kind of a lot of different formulas you can go when it comes to reels.
So good. And one of the things you said that I really keyed in on was the ability to use that call to action to give more, to encourage them to go to your feed, right? To where you get an extra boost. I'm sure you get an extra boost from Instagram when you do that, because they're saying, okay, this person not only liked this content because they watched it all the way through, but then they did something else. They went to their profile or whatever. So good. So good. That's such a wicked smart strategy. When it comes to threes, I agree. I love that. And it keeps our content short and sweet, which is what the content's all about. That's the whole.
Mhm.
So when it comes to like creating this content, like, do you need fancy equipment?
Nope. I use my beautiful window that's right in front of me. I actually have my handy tripod. It's actually a little phone stand that I love. Chances are just put my phone on this. I do have a tripod I use occasionally. And then I literally just use my phone. I will say that a lot of people maybe don't love the Reels editing software as much. Maybe you do. But what I personally find is so much easier is I just use my phone camera. I film all my video clips, and then I like to edit it in an outside app. So I love InShot. I love recommending it too, because it's really easy to use. It's available for iOS and Android, but it also is very robust. Everything you could want to edit a video is right inside there. So I'll often, put my phone stand up. I have my natural lighting. I film all my clips on my actual phone. I edit it together. And then what I pretty much do inside Reels when I'm uploading it is then I add in the text in Reels, because I personally like, especially if I'm creating for Reels, to use the text that's within the app. I think Instagram really likes that. And then I just create my cover photo to match my grid in Canva, which I have a template for. So it's a pretty streamlined workflow.
So, question, I love that you said you just do this with your phone essentially in a nice lighted window space, right?
Yes.
We just need natural light. If you have I call ring lights, Botox in a bulb, but, because
Yes.
if you got good lighting, it helps, but natural light's amazing. And I'm in total agreement with InShot Inlet. It's a Light Tricks. Light Tricks makes that, right? I love all Light Tricks stuff, all their
Yes.
apps. But InShot, but we can do all this with our phone. That's the point. It doesn't require us to do anything fancy, have anything fancy. As long as you have a smartphone, you've got everything literally right in your hot little hand to be able to do what you need to do. So when you get ready to upload it to Reels, keeping in mind that this is 15-second increments, do you have to splice it, or does Instagram do it for you?
Instagram will do it for you. So Instagram for a reel, even though it's going to be different clips, it's still going to upload in one single video. So for example, if you're filming within the Instagram app, you'll film each clip and it'll paste it all together for you. And the same thing is if you edit a video with a bunch of different clips and upload it, as long as it's under 30 seconds, it'll be ready to go.
Yeah, awesome. So y'all hear that? You don't have to worry about like stopping at 15 seconds. Like if you just sit down in front of your phone, put it on a tripod, turn it facing you, give somebody 3 tips to do whatever your area of expertise is. It's a great way to start. And you can edit it if you want to, make it a little more polished with a great app, but you don't have to. This is something that we can all do. And I'm talking to myself when I say this too. Okay, y'all? So, okay. So when it comes to hashtags, how do the hashtags work with the Reels? Do they work the same way? Can you get traffic and views and, be found using hashtags?
Yes. So if you go to look under a hashtag, you'll actually see a miniature Reels feed. So if you're using hashtags, your video can show up on that Reels feed. And similarly, if you click that reel that's previewing under a hashtag and start scrolling, it'll be all videos that are using that hashtag. So especially when we were doing the 30-day Reels challenge, for people that had smaller accounts, they found that if they didn't use hashtags, they definitely saw a major difference. I will be completely honest and say that I don't use hashtags on my reels because I found that my most viral reels that got over 60,000 views and thousands of likes and comments didn't have them. So it might also be something to experiment with yourself. But I'd say as long as you're really sticking to those very specific niche hashtags that are relevant to the audience you're wanting to reach in the topic in your video, definitely experiment with trying to add them to your videos and adding them in the either caption or the comments. Both work.
I love that. So, and one thing that I'm going to circle back to, because this is really important across the board, is we need to be doing our own testing. Like, she just talked about some of her students had great success with hashtags, but, she saw that she doesn't get that much with, so therefore she doesn't use them. So do your own testing. I would speculate. I'm just, again, not quite sure if this is true, but I bet you if you're just starting with Reels, the hashtags would have a lot more impact than if you've been using them. And, I'm just speculating, but I don't know that for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the more you use Reels, Instagram starts to expect a certain quality of content. I noticed one of my first Reels that I posted, and I had no clue what I was doing. I didn't know what was going to work with Reels. It's one of my top performing videos. And so I think it kind of sets the tone of how Instagram categorizes your video content. Could be totally wrong, but I agree with that theory.
Yeah, at the end of the day, this is like a petri dish for us.
Right.
All this stuff is just test, figure it out. I never was super awesome in chemistry and biology and all those things in school, but this is a little different. It's like human psychology, like what is going to get people to take action. And it's going to be different, I think, for all of us. Some things will work, I think, are tried and tested, but sometimes we just have to do our own legwork. So I'm going to I think this is more of an opinion-based question next, but I'm curious as to what you feel is um, maybe an advantage of Reels over TikTok. Like, do you, and because I do, well, and is there, that would be the better question. Let me restate the question. Is, um, is there a benefit to really embracing Reels over TikTok, or if you're going to do both, just leveraging the content in both places? I'm just curious as to your opinion on that.
Yeah, I think if you're really wanting to stick to the short form type of video content, which I think isn't going anywhere, I think that creating your videos within TikTok and then saving them and uploading them to Reels, I think is a really great strategy. I've seen a lot of people see growth in both platforms from there. It's very interesting. Chances are they tend to see one side get a little bit more of that viral engagement. Sometimes it's Instagram, sometimes it's TikTok. So I'm definitely going to experiment with how your posting is, how big your account is, those types of things. But I do think TikTok will always have an advantage, in my opinion, over all the short form types of video places, because when you open TikTok, there's the For You page, and that For You page is gold. And if you've never used TikTok, if you're like, what the heck, chances are you opened it up the first time and you just saw maybe a bunch of teeny boppers doing dances or what's really trendy on the app. But if you started looking for things and engaging with things that you're interested in, like my feed is puppies and hiking and Trader Joe's and business tips. That is literally my feed, curated to a T. I don't see all the dances and stuff, because once you start to really interact with TikTok, it is wicked smart. And I can't imagine any other algorithm really replicating the success that TikTok has gotten there. It's almost like very creepy, but in a very great way, because you just have so much content to binge. So I'd say that is the huge benefit of using TikTok. And when we come to the viral reach, and of course, using this types of video, your only goal isn't just to get millions of views, because there's a lot of benefit there, but there's also not. I think TikTok is the only social media platform that you can literally have no followers, create an account, and get a million views on a video. I've seen that happen to so many people. So I think that won't happen on Instagram. But the benefits of using Reels, I think, is that it's within the Instagram interface, within all the sub platforms. And if you're already using Instagram, you're not having to show up on another platform, and you can really just nurture your current community and audience, but also really build your community even more, because I always like to really focus on trying to create your profile to have so much content to binge, whether people are discovering you or wanting to work with you. So I think if you can focus all your energy on Reels and all the other parts of Instagram, it is almost a little bit better than trying to be on too many platforms and maybe you don't have the bandwidth for it. So I think having it all internally, so you can have DMs and comments and saves and shares and your whole entire profile and how Instagram works, I think is definitely a benefit for just staying on Reels.
Yeah, so good. And I will say, I'm kind of tagging along with what you said. I think if you already have community, it's like maybe a good example of this is Clubhouse right now. There's so many, so much focus on that. Great opportunity. I mean, I love it. I love engaging and connecting with people there. But what happens, playing the devil's advocate, when Twitter rolls out Twitter Spaces, which is in now? So people who have communities on Twitter, like myself, who have major communities there, I think are going to have an opportunity there to serve that community, connect with, already have a built-in community. And same with Instagram, where you already have a connected community or followers on Instagram, or going back to the Twitter Clubhouse example, then the opportunity is going to be super rich there. But something that Natasha said that I think is super important for us. And I think it's an opportunity, whether it's TikTok or even Reels. TikTok, I agree. It's like Clubhouse. I've seen so many people like that I've never known before. In fact, I think I connected with Natasha on Clubhouse. So, so many amazing people that I'm connecting with there. And that goes back to sometimes we have to get out of our zone, out of our normal to connect and meet new people. Like, our little communities are, what they are, and that's great. But sometimes these new platforms give us an opportunity to attract a whole different slew of people to us that we never would have had a touch point with before. So I just think that there's opportunity. And like with, with TikTok and Clubhouse, I'm seeing a lot of what I would call people that are maybe newbies, not newbies in their expertise, but newbies in the concept of having massive communities, and they're attracting massive communities, which is so exciting for me. And I want you guys to understand that there's opportunity. Clubhouse, TikTok, Reels, anywhere that there's not mass adoption yet. And Reels is one of those places. I still believe that there is so much opportunity because particularly when it comes to, I would say, online businesses, there's a lot of content that I'm seeing on Reels that's beauty and lifestyle related, but I don't see as much like expertise style of content. So if you have an expertise and you need a way to connect and start to really attract more people to you, then yeah, I think maybe Reels could be your thing. Natasha's shaking her head. She's like,
Yes, I completely agree. And I mean, to the point with Clubhouse, TikTok, they're great for getting a lot of eyeballs on your brand. But where are they going to go to connect with you, to purchase, to make those decisions, to message you? Chances are they're going to go to Instagram first. So I think the more you can build out your content there, the better.
So I saw a question go by earlier, and I apologize for the one that asked. I have the same question, but it's been a while. So whoever asked the question, we're now going to get around to asking it, which is, how do you sit down in a block of time and just batch this? Do you have any suggestions or strategies for people who, hey, I want to do the 5 reels a week, Natasha, just like you said, but can you tell me how I can do it quickly and easily?
Yes, I've got a workflow for you. So the first thing is to always outline your videos. This could be as in-depth as scripting. I personally don't prefer a script, but I know tons of people that do. So sit down and outline, what is that hook? What are those main points? What is that call to action? So really clearly outlining what is your video going to include. And if you're maybe doing a funnier video, or you're doing transitions, or you're doing outfit changes, or if you're doing props, in that outline, say exactly what's going to be included there. The other step is actually batch filming. So we already kind of went over the tools that I use to film. So I literally just set out a bunch of different shirts, some accessories, and I get camera ready for the day, and I just sit down and film them all. So I just change my top so it looks a little bit different, and I just stay in my space and film every single video from that outline. I'd say if I set aside a good amount of time, I could do 5 videos or more because they're already planned ahead of time in those outlines. And then personally, I like to edit in the same day because the clips and the idea of the video is really fresh in my mind. So I just go in, batch edit all those videos. And then I have a little extra pro tip for you. So if you're using a social media scheduler, which I highly recommend, I personally love and use Later. And what you can actually do is, there isn't a technical way to schedule reels right now. But if you want to schedule a reel, so let's say you make a cover photo, this could be a photo, a graphic, anything like that. And then you have your edited video. So what you can do is upload those into your schedule. scheduler and then schedule them as a carousel or a multiple photo post. So then it's going to send you a push notification on your phone. And so then you can actually schedule and kind of like automate your reels versus having like a bunch of cover photos and edited videos on your actual phone. So I find that's really helpful. And especially if anyone watching maybe does content management for other things, that's what my team does for our clients as well. So that's kind of my workflow to help you really get ahead. And I think if you're wanting to start reels right now, set aside a week or something to plan these ideas, to create your cover photos, to film, to edit, and you can probably have them ready to go by next week. So you're a little bit ahead of your content and you can really stay consistent with it.
Such a great idea. And I think one thing that I've been doing with my videos, exactly the same thing, dress for success from the waist up, y'all. That's all it requires. Do your hair, your makeup if you're a lady. Well, even if you're a guy, if you want to do hair and makeup, that's okay too. Have a couple of shirts handy and, you can change out and you're good to go. So a couple of, I have actually one, maybe two questions left. So, and we'll be choosing the winners here in just a moment. So, Katz, I believe that, you said you love Later, is that correct?
Yes. Later is my preference, but you could use Buffer, Planoly, Creator Studio. You just want to make sure it doesn't auto-publish. You just get a push notification. I actually have a reel I just did about schedulers if you want to hear kind of my favorites, but those are my recommendations.
And we use Agora Pulse, same concept. They're an approved partner with Instagram too. So you just need to make sure that they're an approved partner. That would be my only recommendation, because there are resources out there that do things that are not in alignment with the terms of service, terms of service. So just make sure that they're an approved partner. So while we're choosing the winners for today's giveaways, what is something that people need to know that I didn't ask about?
Ooh, okay. Oh my gosh, I feel like so many tips. My brain just exploded. I'll give a tip for stories and a tip for reels. My best tip for Instagram stories is invite people to engage with you. So this could be by using those stickers. There's a million different types of stickers because Instagram wants you to use them. So hosting Q&As, putting polls up, encouraging people to DM you if they have more thoughts or anything like that. Really making sure you're kind of talking to one person when you're showing up on stories, so it feels like really making a deeper connection. That's how you'll get a lot more engagement on your stories. And for reels, oh my gosh, I can't think of so many. I'd say the same way that I recommend having a hook to really grab people in when you're actually doing your video, you want to make sure you do that in the description of your caption as well. That first line, really draw people in, because you want them to read that caption, spend more time on that video, and really be engaged there. A little bonus tip is definitely always add text to your reels. It always adds more context, makes your content more accessible, and I always find that it just adds even more value and retention to your videos. So hopefully those tips were helpful.
So good, so good. One thing I wondered, here, we got our first winner. So winner of the 30-minute strategy call is Laquita and Jackie. So if you guys will go over to kimgarst.com/winner and drop in your details there, we will get you guys set up. I'm excited. I love having an opportunity to talk to people that have businesses. Like I get to get my fingers in other people's businesses a little bit. So it's so fun. Okay, I just want to make sure I don't miss the next. I know we have a mug still to give away. And y'all, I just want to give a huge shout out to everybody that's watching, whether you're live or on the replay, because y'all rock. Like they have been dropping in their ahas today. It has been amazing. So our winner, let's see. Who won the mug? Did I miss the mug? All right, hang on, y'all. I might have missed the mug. Rhonda is on top of these things, but sometimes I miss the comment. So Rhonda, you may have to drop it in for me again. You know me, I sometimes mess up when we're live like this. It's just to keep me on my toes. Okay, so Nancy Thomas is the winner of today's BU mug. You guys, you wait till you see what's coming with my store. You guys are going to be so excited. I'm so excited, but seriously, it's such a wicked smart idea. Even if I have to say so myself. I'm super excited. I can't wait to tell y'all a little bit more about it. Okay, so winners of today's giveaways, guys, go to kimgross.com/winner. We'll get you guys all taken care of. Now, Natasha, where can everybody connect with you? I know you've recently rebranded, but give everybody the details. Where can they go check you out? I mean, I know this is your website, but do you have a special place that you would like people to connect with you?
Yes. So at Shine with Natasha on Instagram is probably the best place to go. You can see my stories and reels in action, and there's tons of content for you to binge there. And then shinewithnatasha.com, I actually have that 30-day Reels challenge that I mentioned if you want to take it and learn more about Reels. And I'm on Clubhouse, Natasha Samuel, if you want to hang out in some rooms.
And I'm just curious, because this is something that's been really fascinating to me, is the fact that Clubhouse has been an amazing way to attract people to my Instagram account and to have one-on-one conversations with people, which has been incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Are you finding that to be true too, where you're able
Absolutely.
to attract a lot of new followers using Clubhouse?
Yes, I'd say easily when I do a room, I get a few hundred new followers and a lot of really great engaged comments and DMs. So I definitely think it's great for bringing people over to Instagram. If you want to have any call to actions, people to connect with you, I think that's the best one you can have.
Yeah, definitely. And don't forget, guys, go check out her website because you can take that 30-day challenge if you are interested in, learning and maybe having a little bit of accountability with Reels. Definitely check it out. All right. Well, before we head out, I want everybody just to give a big, huge thank you, if you would, to our special guest today, Natasha. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and just letting us pick your brain on all of this Instagram Reel. Actually, we've talked about Instagram Reels. We've talked about stories. We've talked about Clubhouse. We've
TikTok.
talked TikTok. Yes. About it all. It all kind of is circles, right? If
Yes,
you have strategy, all of these platforms can have tie-in and can be leveraged
absolutely.
and connected together. So thank you for being here and sharing and all that good stuff with us. For those of you who are with us live watching, I want to thank you for being here and hopefully you guys will have a great rest of your day. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, and God bless.
Thank you.